few weeks ago, I had a comment on this channel suggesting that I should review the Ninja Combi 12-in-1 oven because it could cook for the whole family in about 15 minutes. Now, I do read all of your comments, and I also keep a list of the suggestions of appliances that you think I should review. And so when Ninja did a sale last month and this popped up at a discount, I decided to order it. The Ninja 12-in-1 Combi oven is an awful lot like the Foodi Max 14-in-1 multi-cooker, which I've already reviewed on this channel, and also like the Ninja Speedi 10-in-1. But it differs in one really significant way. While those other two multi-cookers are essentially big pots that open at the top, the Ninja Combi is a countertop oven that opens at the front, and so it's much easier to find a spot for it on the work surface where it's practical to use it, and also much easier because you can see what's happening through the glass door on the front. All of the multi-cookers that Ninja make offer some form of air frying, along with steam and slow cooking and combi meals, which are where you cook grains or pasta on the bottom layer and vegetables and meat on the top. They also all have some form of manual switch to toggle between the different modes. On the Foodi 14-in-1, this is the smart lid switch, which you slide horizontally. And on the Speedi and on this Combi oven, there's a lever at the top. The Speedi and the Combi have a lot of similar components, from the design of the air intake at the top to the lever at the side and also the cooking interface. The Combi looks brilliant in the kitchen. The chrome effect and grey finish looks really modern and high end. Its footprint is 39 by 38 centimetres and it's 33 centimetres high. The inside of the Combi oven also looks as shiny and high end as the outside. With the oven you get three non-stick accessories: the Combi pan, the crisper plate that can be used inside it, and the bake tray. All of them are dishwasher proof. Now, as far as cooking goes, as you would expect, the Combi is really versatile, and it's supplied with a big Ninja recipe book with lots of ideas and photos showing you how you can use it. And so what I'm going to do is, as well as making this video for you describing how it all works, I'm also making another video where I cook through lots of those recipes from the book and show you just how versatile this oven is, what works well in it, and what doesn't work quite so well. If you'd like to see that video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and you've hit the notifications. If it's already been published by the time you're watching this, then there'll be a link to it at the end of the video as well. But for now, here's an overview of what the Combi can do. First of all, with that switch over to the left-hand menu is enabled, and the top option on that is Combi meals. As I mentioned before, this is the mode where you can cook rice or pasta on the lower level and vegetables or meat or fish on the top. That's your whole family meal done in about 15 minutes. The top half of the oven makes food crispy while the bottom steams in the liquid that you add. Next is Combi Crisp, which is for cooking food with a crisp exterior and a tender inside. And you can do that again by adding water to the Combi pan. You can cook from chilled or from frozen, doing vegetables or meat, including a whole chicken, although you will need to either spatchcock the chicken or just break the breastbone to make it lay flatter. I said before with the 14-in-1 that people rave about this setting for cooking chickens, but I have to be honest, I haven't noticed any really significant difference using Combi Crisp compared to roasting in an air fryer. Next is Combi Bake, which is by far my favourite setting. This allows you to steam bake bread and cakes in the style of professional baking oven. Then there is a pasta and rice setting, which is for cooking grains in water in the Combi pan, very much like you would do in a saucepan on the hob. Next is steam, which is to gently cook ingredients like vegetables or meat at high temperatures. And finally, on the left-hand side is Prove, which is used to get raw dough to rise quickly in a warm space. You can see that I use a shower cap over my dough on this setting because I like to do everything that I can to keep the dough from drying out. That isn't something that is specifically advised by Ninja, but it works for me. So now if you switch the switch to the right, then you will enable the right hand menu, and you have the remaining 6 options which start with grill, and that of course in the UK is heat from above, and you would use that to crisp off the top of something like a pasta bake. Then there's air fry, which most of us will be familiar with, great for cooking small frozen items, so the kind of food that you might ordinarily deep fry. Bake is recommended for pies, pasta bakes and cookies. Then there is reheat, which you can use to quickly bring things back up to temperature. As with air fryers, this is particularly good for food that you want to keep crisp, which would normally go limp in a microwave. So things like roast potatoes, pizza or pastry. There's also an option for slow cooking, which is great for stews, bolognese or even rice pudding. There are 2 settings, high and low, and you can run it for up to 12 hours. And finally there's sear/saute, which is for frying your base ingredients like bacon and onions before you create a dish. On this setting you have the door open so that you can stir the ingredients in the combi pan. You might also use this setting to brown meat before you switch to the slow cooker mode. Now, something new which I'm starting on this channel on one of your suggestions is measuring energy consumption of the appliances that I review. It's not going to be a perfect test, but it's intended to give you a little bit of an indicator of how different models compare to each other. So for this test, I run the appliance on air fry for 10 minutes at 200 Celsius. This combi oven used 0.205 kilowatt hours on that test, costing at the average rate at the moment 4.4p. Now Ninja don't provide a capacity in litres for the combi, but the internal space works out at about 12.4 litres, and of that the main combi pan holds 2.8 litres. Here's how the combi stacked up next to a couple of other air fryer models on energy consumption. So interestingly, as you can see, the combi used exactly the same electricity as the 14-in-1. But what it shows is that if you're going to use it to air fry small items or single portions, it's going to be a lot more energy efficient to use the single drawer of a dual basket model like the Kasori, which used only 60% of the energy. So I've really enjoyed cooking with this combi oven for the last couple of weeks. It fits really well into our kitchen, it looks good, and I love the versatility of it. As you may know, some people cook wet dishes like stews in traditional air fryer drawers, but those air fryers aren't really designed for that. So a combi like this, although a little bit more expensive, is a much better tool for the job. If you watched my review of the 14-in-1, you may remember me saying that the thing I loved most about that model was baking in it, and it's exactly the same for the combi oven. You can prove bread quickly and efficiently, and the steam baking makes the best, incredibly light, fluffy and moist cakes. For me though, the combi is a much better design than the Speedi or the 14-in-1, unless you mainly cook stews and casseroles and you want to have that big 7.5 litre sized pot. On the downside, I fear that the shiny inside of this is going to look a little bit tatty quite quickly, but I'm going to keep it. And if you watched the video of the 14-in-1, you may remember that at the end of that I said there were lots of things I didn't like about it, but that I was keeping it in the short term because I loved the steam baking. Well, now I have the combi, the 14-in-1 has left the building. So I hope this video was helpful. Please do drop your thoughts in the comments. I love to read them and they're really helpful for other people who are watching this video as well. If that video about cooking in the combi has been published, it'll be appearing on the screen right now. And if not, the subscribe button is there as well, so you can subscribe and you'll know when it is published. Thank you very much for watching.